Yeah, and just to go back to your bear example, I shared this previously, but I went up to national park up in Montana,
Yeah.
and it was right before they were about to close the season out because of snow and everything, coming in. And Glacier National Park,
Yep.
which also shares border with Canada, and it's called something else inside of Canada. And I hired a guide to kind of take me down some, back
Yeah.
pathways and things. She was like, "Oh, let's go down this pathway. You can eat some wild berries that are like safe for humans and stuff." We got there and like the bushes were decimated, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess the berries aren't around this season." She's like, "No, the bears all came in and they gorged themselves. They'll eat hundreds of pounds of berries
They do.
to gear up because their body is signaling that it's time to get ready for hibernation. So they're eating all this
Right.
berries, which is fruit, which is fructose,
Yes.
right?
And then what that does is that makes them leptin resistant, and then they eat more and more. They can gain 8 to 10 pounds a day. And then they use that and they become fat, and then they hibernate and they live off their fat for the entire winter. And so
Right.
that's what they do. So when we were studying fructose, we go, oh gosh, this was actually used as a survival pathway to help store fat and to help the animal raise blood pressure, because it thinks that there's no food around. So this is a good thing for the animal, but it's temporary, right? But we are eating all this fructose all the time. We're eating sugar. So many 70% of processed foods have sugar or high fructose corn syrup. Maybe 15-20% of our diet, of the average diet, is fructose, high fructose corn syrup or sugar. So we're inundating us, and so this seemed to be one of the problems. And then when we looked at how this works, is it calories or not? What we found was that calories drives weight gain, because if we if we treated animals with a fructose diet versus like a starch diet, or a control diet, the fructose animals and the control animals, if they all ate the same number of calories, the fructose animals were hungry, but they couldn't eat anymore because there was no food given to them because we restricted it. So their weight,
You were doing meal feeding
yeah,
for the rodents.
pair feeding. So
Yeah.
each animal got the same as the other. So what happens is the fructose fed animals actually got hungry, but they couldn't eat anymore. And so weight gain didn't go up, because weight gain is really an energy balance equation. But everything else did happen. They became diabetic, they became hypertensive, they got the fatty liver,
Crazy.
whereas the control animals didn't. So what we learned is that there's two things. Fructose doesn't require extra calories to make your liver fat. Doesn't
Mm.
require extra calories to make your blood pressure go up. It doesn't require extra calories to make you insulin resistant. You can become diabetic on a diet. We even made animals diabetic, restricting their calories, but keeping it as a high sugar diet.
Mm.
So, so most of the features of metabolic syndrome are not driven by excess calories. They're driven by fructose. But the rest of it, weight gain is an energy balance. If I restrict calories, your weight's going to go down.